All right, welcome back to the second episode of the whatever it's going to be called. We don't know what it's going to be called. We don't care what it's going to be called. Here with Dan. Say hi, Dan. We're not even going to do it. Do it close to the mic, actually.
Hello?
No, the thing. Oh, fuck, yeah. So, how are you, Dan? First of all, before we begin, how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's the weekend. It's Halloween.
Yeah. We're going to record a special Halloween podcast after this. But it is the weekend. So, first of all, I would like to start off where we left off last time. When we left, we were on the train with you. And your mother missed the train. And all that stuff. And then we got to BC. But before we get to BC, I would actually like to ask you a question before. What is it like when you're like, maybe it was at the middle of the night, so you maybe don't even know. When you're like at like Alberta and BC where it's like the mountains. What is that like?
Well, I just wanted to ask you because I'm not, too updated with all of Canada.
Yeah.
Where exactly would the Rockies be?
Well, the Rockies is sort of like where the border of BC and Alberta is. You kind of see, like, if you look at a map, the Rockies sort of follow the border outlines, but it's right there. Like, there's a lot of Rockies in Alberta. Or, sorry, in BC.
Okay.
But in Calgary, when I was in Calgary, you could see the Rockies from Calgary. But I'm assuming you drove through them, right?
Oh, well, yeah, we went right across Canada, and I just found the most, depressing or desolate area where it would be probably just the Rockies.
Really? You didn't think that was beautiful?
Well, nature-wise, sure, but I mean, I've never been one to stop and idolize the surroundings.
Well, you're not really stopping on a train.
Well, no, even, bypassing.
But here's my question. Are you going like side by side, or are you going, is there tunnels that go through some mountains?
I think it was really, well, yeah, there was a lot of that going through. And, again, I don't know which province, but I know that, for instance, like the Hudson Bay trading thing that went on, however long ago.
Yeah.
We went through where that would have happened,
Okay.
but obviously in a different direction.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that did stretch pretty far, so. But it's not nice at all. You don't see snow-capped mountains. And
the only thing I thought was neat is, when you're looking down and you're basically on mountains.
Like you're on the side of a mountain?
Yeah.
And there's kind of a valley below?
Yeah, or just water below. Like
when I came back from Korea, so the flight was Japan to, like, Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, once we, like, flew over the mountains and, like, the guy was like, ladies and gentlemen, these are the beautiful Canadian mountains or whatever. But I was like, oh, I'm back home, baby. This is it. I was so happy to see those mountains. You have no idea. But I guess it wasn't that interesting.
No. Well, that's just what I mean. I've never been too much of a fan with, Canada. I just feel that it just never got built up. Like, it was like, there's only nature to it a certain extent. And then after that, it's sad because, there's so much more we could develop it into. And,
well, we got time.
Yeah. There's always hope, right? I mean.
But then to keep the nature there is still beautiful.
Well, yeah, that aspect. But it just seems so, like, why would you want to live here? It just seems so desolate.
Yeah, so big.
Like, it might be a great place for a vacation home.
Yeah,
because
if you've got the money.
But if you wanted to get away from everything, and I mean absolutely everything.
So you get to BC. I assume the train stops at Vancouver.
Yeah, Tell you, yeah, I think it did, and we took a ferry over to Victoria.
Like, is the train station downtown Vancouver, or is it like outside of the city? I've been to the airport.
That I wouldn't remember.
Yeah. And so then you take that beautiful ferry over to Victoria. What were your first years like in Victoria?
Well, we stayed with my grandmother for probably a month or two until we got settled in our own place, and I ended up finishing. I want to say 2 months, the last 2 months of elementary there.
Because, you came like midway through the school year?
Yeah, because out here in Ontario, grade 7 at the time was part of high school curriculum, and over there, grade 7 was still part of elementary school.
Yeah.
And I suppose, too, that in doing that, it would make things more suitable that, you go with the next wave of people your own age. And it's not just like landing slam in a high school or a middle school. Same thing,
Yeah, well, for us, we didn't even have middle school. It was like elementary, I guess it's 1 to 8. And then 9 to, high school is 9 to 12 or whatever.
Yeah, see.
But that's French school, so it's
where I went was out here. It was kindergarten to grade 7, and then, kindergarten to grade 6, and then grade 7 to 12.
All in the same school?
Yeah.
Okay, but do they kind of section it off for the 7 and 8s?
No.
No?
Well, the high school I went to had 5 floors.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's like a fucking mega mall or something.
That was Darcy McGee.
Yes.
Do you know that school?
No, but you talked about it last time.
Yeah.
That's pretty big, though.
Yeah, it was true.
But was it sectioned off in the floors still? Was it like segregated floors?
No. You could go anywhere. It was just, imagine having to go upstairs, no elevator, and the gymnasium was just beyond words. It was so big. Like, you wouldn't want to do laps around that.
Did you have the split wall thing?
They did, but
I love that thing.
We never had that up.
Oh.
So
then you finished your 7th grade in BC.
Yeah.
And then 8th was... 8th was still elementary there, then, you mean?
No, grade 7 was elementary.
But 8 was high school?
Yeah, 8 was high school.
Okay.
Or middle school, but it's practically high school.
Was it hard to adapt?
No, not really. Just lots of questions from people, like, well, aside from being obviously new, just ignorance.
Yeah.
Especially lots of, kids that had never been off the island and they didn't know anything about race or, other nationalities when they would, come to that I'm not just, there's more than just white people.
Yeah.
When they started,
I guess it would be predominantly like
I didn't look like them, and I'll say 1 out of every 10 or so students, friends knew that there was a difference.
Yeah.
Whereas, even parents to certain extents would just at a glance, that's just this or that. And so, really, well, especially being young too, right? Having to explain to people was just, stressful. Like, because it gets to a point where you just want to tell people off.
Yeah.
Especially
if there's more than one kid, constantly.
I don't know what it was like for you in school, but I'll give you an example, and I'm sure everybody's experienced, where even though you know people, you know their name, you know what they live, so you know them.
Yeah.
But the both of you really know nothing about each other in any relationship aspect whatsoever. And out of nowhere, they'll just approach you as comfortable and as forward as though you did know each other.
Yeah.
And they'll just ask you the most forward and offensive thing. And anyone in their mind.
With no,
just,
like...
Yeah. With,
like, what do you call that? Like, not regret, but like... that boy ain't got no couth. Now we're going to pause here because I'm fucking... So we got interrupted by a phone call. But, as you were saying, there's some people at school. It was hard to adjust, basically.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't just that. You know, it was the situation of being on fixed income, and then where we lived, and you see, that's something that's totally different about the West Coast. God is a witness. What they consider to be casual over there is, more than you need.
Okay.
Like,
way more than you need?
Porsches are like a dime a dozen over there.
Really? Is this only in Victoria, though?
Well, this was, where I was in Victoria. On average, there's so much money over there, it's staggering. And it's just,
do you know, like, what, what's the, like, main source of income for that?
I think a lot of people, it's in a mixture of inheritance and lawyers and probably business owners.
But there's so much of it out there, like more than a normal East Side city. Like,
well, everything's expensive everything's expensive in general, but you don't only understand if you saw it. Lots of, like, on average, most of the people that I went over to their houses with, even if I only saw them, say, 4 or 5 times and we didn't really continue to hang out.
Yeah. We'd
go over to their house, and obviously you don't think anything at the time, but you go to their house thinking everything's normal, and their house is 4 times what it ought to be.
Yeah, didn't you tell me there was like some type of Bruce Wayne Manor style? Like,
yeah, I had a friend that introduced me to a guy that I caught on with for a bit, and just before I had started hanging around with him, somebody had given me a heads up that they were rich, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. And when we stopped at his house on the weekend before we went up to the lake, he had to drive down a trail, to get to his house, and then from the gated property itself,
Fidelio,
it was almost 5 minutes driving space just to reach the house, where there were at least 10 vehicles.
So it was like Fidelio.
Not only that, it's the only house I've ever been in that had 30 plus foot ceilings.
Fantastic.
I've never been.
You could play squash.
It was just, it was staggering. Like you go into a state of fear that you might touch anything or ruin anything, and so I didn't even want to be there. Like
when you're around me in the TV. Don't fucking touch it!
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But, okay, so is this all within your first couple of years here?
Yeah, well...
Or there?
That kind of ties into it, and I think it's because of the fact that there's so much money and it's so common that, that's what I mean. People were also, just you know, in a state of shock that, you know, you don't just have money like we do, or, you know, why are you, you know, living in a garden home, and but that's also youth, right? When that's all they've known, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Let me tell you a story. Like, I lived in kind of like a same like style, like those garden home type lower income places, even though like my mom worked and everything. But I remember this one time, I went to my friend's house who lived in the south of the city and lived in like a nice house, but they were attached, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they, you know, when you go on like a school field trip and like, sometimes like I lived close to the school. So when we were driving back, all of us in the bus, we drove by my houses, and they were just like shitty looking garden homes, Russell Heights. And I was like, I told him earlier that my house was like his house because they were attached. In my mind, I was young. I was like, they're attached, even though he lived in like a big fucking like, and he started like making fun of me on the bus. He was like, you live there? Holy fuck, that house is nothing like mine. You said it was like mine. And like in front of all the people. He was like, and I was just like, yes, but they're attached. They're like mine. And he was like, no, I don't live in like a shitty little fucking house like yours. Like, I was just like, but they're attached. Is that what you mean? Like style of like
ignorance.
That type of person where it's just like.
Well, just that alongside the curiosity of children that, you know, would want to start asking my mom questions, which is completely understandable and normal. And she would just jump to, you know, the defense. And, you know, that'd be the end of seeing that friend. Just because, you know, my mother would have ruined it and they're not comfortable being over and so on.
Did you, in your neighborhood, did you have people that went to the same school?
Yeah, a couple of friends, actually.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 2 or 3, yeah. And actually one of them was one of the ones that kind of brought it to the house, that were just astonished when people, well, they, you know, they were blown away because people, this is later, this is like, sorry, the next year in school.
Yeah.
Someone had died, and a student, and...
Claude Tanner?
No.
Okay.
Anyways, so after that happened, anyways, the class that student was in, I knew a lot of people, and so a lot of people started seeing some more of the friends that I had, and they were ahead of me a year. And
you were hanging out with the cool kids.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. And it was only because, you know, they were in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And these other kids were trying to, you know, kind of get in the circle or whatever, which is fine. But, you know, a lot of them didn't at the time smoke pot or drink.
Well, I mean, you're still kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you're right, even though we were young. I mean, that's life, right? It just keeps going in circles, and, you know. And they just seemed to think that, you know, I was from another country, and I didn't look like any of them. And so right off the bat, they just kind of like, you know, they were scared of me, and they thought...
Wait a minute. Is this the creation of Danvich?
No.
Okay.
That goes from day one. From 3 years old.
Oh.
1988. But, anyways, staying on track. No, these people had just assumed that, you know, I was from another country, and they got scared at the fact that they didn't know. Nobody really knew where I was from. They had just known that I looked different. And one of the foreign teachers happened to be from Russia and was, you know, sure that there was Russian, a mixture in my family. And so, you know, the ignorance of youth, you fear what you don't know, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think like 9 out of 10 people, you're not too comfortable with a brat pack in your personal space, especially with the life that you're stuck in the midst of at the time.
Okay.
You know, this was still within the first year or so. So we didn't have furniture. We didn't have anything set up right. We didn't, you know, and the neighborhood itself was, it wasn't a good place for anyone. And, you know, especially to have, say, a group of a dozen or so people that, even though I'm sure, you know, they were nice, in and out of the house, over constantly, you know, they're just going to continue to bring the same questions to my mom. You know, why are you guys here? Why aren't you working? So on. And that's just gonna create a bomb.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna be sore. And you know, so I kind of just tried to explain to some of them that, you know what, like, I live in a bad area. I'd much rather hang around your house, get to know all of you, and be friends with you. And a lot of people didn't want to. A lot of people wanted to go out with me at the time, and, you know, I'm not comfortable with that. I want to get to know somebody at least a little bit before that. And so because of that, they just kind of jumped on the bandwagon, like, you know, assuming I'm from another country and so on, and, you know, stay away from this guy, you fear what you don't know. And when the neighbors, as soon as it got around to them, they kind of freaked out because, you know, right off the bat, they were shocked, because it's like, I know this person, and there's no reason to be afraid, you know, like all these, and that's high school too, rumors.
Oh, fuck, man. High school.
And so God knows what it got passed around, and it was just basically like, I think anybody understands when it's just like, stay away from this person. They're this, they're that, they're that. And on and on and on. I didn't even want to know the half of it. And like, you know, I said before, I did smoke some pot and all, you know, but I don't think it was over the top yet.
Yeah.
I hadn't got into it yet to that extent. And so the neighbors that heard about this just kind of tried to, you know, defend me, or at least level with them and say, you know, well, you know, have you actually sat down to, you know,
get to know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you couldn't, that was the most strange thing. You couldn't even reason with them, because the minute you try to do that, they would just look at you as if, you know, like you're either with us or against us.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds almost childish or bizarre, but I, you know, with God as a witness, that's what it was like for me, and for a lot of people. And that's what I mean when I say that, you know, the body of that school that I was at was terrible.
Yeah.
And you know, it was also many teachers, and I think, you know, thinking back now, that many of the students will just, you know, do whatever, you know, follow the crowd. and they'll do whatever it takes to be right with a teacher, or a better way to put it would be likened by a teacher.
Yeah.
And just a lot of teachers just hated me. Like, it doesn't matter why. I don't want to know why. But just a quick example. I was actually given an F, failed a PE class. Well, the whole semester, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that I didn't have a proper gym strip.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether or not the teacher took it as though I was talking back to them when they had said that I needed to get some, and I just legitimately said to them, I can't. There's no, and they would ask me something like, well, ask your mom to buy you some, and I would, explain to the person, there's no money, we can't. And legitimately in front of my face, he just failed me.
That's fucked.
And you know what? Like I said, some of the things that went on back then, and I think it's a part of every person's life, unless, you really were a whip, straight A, and just fortunate enough to be that.
Is that what they call it? A whip?
Well, it's
like
just a term,
Straight A student that's just listens to whatever?
Not just, somebody that just, I guess, supposedly just wants to get it done and does it and doesn't have any dysfunctional issues outside of in their personal life.
Yeah.
However, I just found a lot of the teachers were out to, some of them went out of their way to shame people too. Just totally degrade people, shame them, and I don't know why. I mean, like, from that point when, like, a vast percentage of kids had just totally decided to alienate me and label me without even taking the initiative to, talk to me, I started to smoke cigarettes, and I started to smoke pot more, and I started to hang around with the party groups.
Yeah.
And they were like a year or so older. But regardless, it just got to the point where, like, I started skipping school because, one, what's the point of being here?
What has this place ever done for me?
No, not even that. It was just, what's the point of being here? Like, I'll give you an example real quick. I was invited to loads of parties, and, I spent Halloweens and other weekends or whatever with friends at their houses. And, any of these people that would have known me that went to the school, I quote, the first thing they would do when they would see me is, quote, what is he doing here, with shock.
Huh.
And, just when you think about that, like, it's really offensive,
I don't know, man.
So
it's a grim tale.
It is.
But
and it's just in time for Halloween.
Okay, but here's the thing. We'll stop it here, but in the next one, we'll talk about all the good stuff that Victoria offered. Probably no Mean Gene burgers.
No.
But, obviously there was some things that you did like. But we'll get into that later. Now, let's join our friends. Who's our friends, Dan? Our friends who we talked to after we talked about your history. We're going to go back to the Slavs.
Okay.
We're only going to do 2 pages here. When we last left the Slavs. When we last left the Slavs. Okay.
Take it easy.
It's like, in Blue Velvet. When in Blue Velvet, when he's like, you're so fucking suave. You're so fucking suave. They should replace it with Slav. Oh, don't do that. That'll go right on the mic. You're so fucking Slav, Ben. So, they were isolated. They were geographically isolated. I don't care how much noise you make. The crunching was enough last time. What was that? All right, so. Now, we're going from the year 490, the present era, Anno Domini, to 600. And the Slavs. Check it out. Just going to bring this a little closer. Predecessor to future Czech Slovak nations.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Slavs are pushed west by Hunnic and Ayar Turkic peoples. Expansions into Eastern Europe. As Germanic people migrate westward, Slavs move into their evacuated lands to fill the void. The Slavic Czechs, in quotation marks, intermix with Germanic peoples to form the basis of the modern Czech people.
So that doesn't surprise me because of where Czech look.
Yeah, where it's situated, sort of. The Slovak tribes formed into separate nation. Not very good grammar on this page, but whatever. Into separate nation after the portion that became Czechs splintered off to the west. You know, by the way, just to add to this, I actually borrowed a book from the Ottawa Public Library. Early Slavs by
I saw that.
Oh, you did, didn't you? You checked me. Get it? You were checking around. Really? You going through my stuff? Was there any was there any secret dark histories that you found?
No, I didn't look at it. I just saw the cover.
I forgot to renew it too, and it's a $3 fine now because I didn't renew it for like a week or something. It's like 25 cents a day, I think. But I didn't even start. But we're going into the Czech land here. Or Slovak land. No. What is it? Slav land. It should be like a...
The Boswanian lumberjacks.
It should be like a...
Is this recording?
Oh, yeah. Slav... Yeah, it's recording. Slav land... Makes me think of in Korea. In Korea, they had like Caribbean Bay was a theme park.
Did you see the penis island?
Yeah. I saw that. No, I didn't actually. I know what it is though. Like, okay, wait. Yeah. Slavland, forget it. Now the South Slavs. Those Slavs that are pushed southwest into the Balkan Peninsula become separated from the rest of the Slavic people as Turkic and Magyar peoples settle to the north of them. South Slav people become the ancestors, principal or partial, to modern Slovenes, Croats, Serbs, Bosnians, Albanians, Montenegrins, Macedonians, Bulgarians, and Romanians. Damn. But that's only South Slavs.
But so those are all the same people.
Yeah, yeah. Some genetic heritage from Slav.
Yeah.
Some genetic heritage from South Slav. So Poles continue to expand. Slovak tribes settle in modern Slovakia. Slavic Czech tribes settle in modern Czech Republic, which used to be part of...
So who were Poles descended from?
Well, we saw that there are some Slavic influence to Poles. Oh my god, we could hear dogs outside. And, you know, Russian. I mean, we could do a whole thing on just the Poles. The Poles. Well, let's go further into time here. We'll only do 2 this time. 600 to 755. Anno Domini. We should actually just take the book, read the whole book It'd be like an audiobook, but with our interjections.
Do you have any idea what the genealogical marker N is?
Yes.
What?
Norwegian.
No, like in the gene pool
No.
alphabet.
Unfortunately, I didn't do my degree
Is
in.
this possibly...
Well, I mean, I don't have it now, but we could. It wouldn't be on this.
Haploops.
It wouldn't be on this, but I'll look it up right now if you want.
Yeah, N.
N or M?
N.
N.
Like...
N haplo group. Okay, so we're going to the haplo groups here. We're going to look at origins. Is that what you want?
Yeah.
There is widespread agreement in the scientific community concerning the African ancestry of haplogroup L3, haplogroup N's parent clade. I don't know what that means. However, whether or not the mutations which define haplogroup N itself first occurred within Asia or Africa has been a subject for ongoing discussion and study. So it appears that some haplogroups from N, here I'm just kind of looking at a map, started out near modern day Iraq and went to Europe and Russia.
N.
Yeah. Persian Gulf. I'm assuming it's a pretty large group of stuff. There's a lot. We don't understand this. We don't know what's going on.
What about I?
Oh God, we're not going to get into everything here.
Let's try one more.
Oh, haplo I.
Yeah.
Is it one?
Yeah, it might be the same thing.
Which one? Y? Y DNA or mDNA? MDMA.
Either. I don't think it matters. I know one's mom, one's dad's.
Origin?
Yeah, sure.
Eurasia.
What would that be?
Europe and Asia. Like a kind of Rushy. From the Persian Gulf originally. Distribution. Holy shit.
What? What do you mean?
It's basically everybody. Yeah, it's like everybody. It's we can't get into this like
It's just too complicated.
yeah, it's too I don't know where you're going there, but
I'm just looking.
so 600 to 755 BC, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
South Slavs are separated from Northern Slav relatives. Ooh. Dan, we're inhabiting all of the Balkan Peninsula.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they probably can't hear your voice because there's none behind. Don't you fucking... Oh,
Yeah.
There's so much, Dan. We can't... I'll read the book.
Can we...
All right. Let's escape from the Slavs for now.
Okay.
Now, last time when we did this, we had 3 news articles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we should replace one of them with fast food news. Here's the fast food news I propose to you. This happened a couple weeks ago. I don't remember when. I don't know how much you care about this. All day breakfast at McDonald's in the US only.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think that's cool. I think they should bring that to Canada. I mean, not to mention the vastness of their menus.
Yeah. The breakfast menu? You mean?
Their total menu. Like,
Yeah.
I heard rumors that they're coming back with the pizza.
Well, yeah. That might not be true, but it's a hope we have. But are you a fan of the McDonald's breakfast? Because I have to
am.
tell you, I'm a fan, but I'm not. Everybody seems to think that it's like a big deal. I am not. It's not a big deal for me at all.
That it's all day?
I don't care. I would rather they have all-day Big Mac. Burger King does it.
Well, you can still get your Big Mac.
No, you can't.
Are you serious?
You cannot get it if you are before like 11 or 11:30 or whatever.
Okay, yeah, no, I know that. But
well, then, if you have all-day breakfast, how come I can't have all-day Big Mac? Even though I've had 2 fucking incidents with non-cooked.
No, I think you're right.
Burger King does it. If you go breakfast hours and you want a Whopper, they'll do it. They'll put it in the microwave for you.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think, too, that, you just need to have some inside help. For instance, if you know somebody's working.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well, here's the thing. Me and Ronald, we go back a long way. But he decided to not cook my fucking burgers twice. After all the money I gave him. And he presents all-day breakfast and he doesn't give me the option of all-day Big Mac?
No, I can see.
I've paid for Ronald's fucking children's fucking college fund, basically.
That's true.
Fuck, man. You know how many big extras I've gotten?
What is your favorite burger that was only limited time?
Limited
if
time
you
only?
Really had to think about everything.
Arch,
Big Extra,
Arch Deluxe.
Double. Are you sure?
It's the Big Extra, but the Arch Deluxe has the allure that it failed. That's why I like it. But it was good too. What's your favorite breakfast item from McDonald's?
Sausage muffin.
Yeah, I would have to. What about like a McGriddle?
Is that the egg thing?
It's like it's like a sausage McMuffin, but the buns are
pancake.
Yeah, they're like maple is like infused or whatever,
or like blueberry something.
Yeah, something's in the pancakes.
Yeah, I've had it. I wasn't really a fan of it.
You'd go with the
I'm just old, I'm old fashioned,
But you like the sausage McMuffin, you don't like the egg McMuffin with just like the ham, right?
Sausage and egg, my bad.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah. But yeah, I could eat 3 of those, no problem.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm happy for everybody who gets the all-day breakfast. But it's not... Everybody makes it out to be this hype-ass motherfucking thing. And it's not. I want my all-day McNuggets. Big Mac. Think about a fucking, 5 o'clock in the morning double quarter pounder.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I think... until they do that, it gives breakfast that
the
special,
allure. Yeah. Well, we're gonna continue on. That was a quick discussion. Now we're gonna move up to a different part. We're not gonna go to the United States. We're gonna move to a closer part to where the Slavs are normally. We're gonna move over to Ukraine.
Okay.
So in Ukraine, there's been a special case. This is one not too recent, but may the police force be with you. Chewbacca arrested at Ukraine polls. So you can see the picture here. Look at Chewbacca's hair. It's all raggedy. It's all a little bit puffier than usual. Isn't that a nice costume of Chewbacca? A man dressed as Star Wars Chewbacca was detained and tried for disobeying police during local polls in Ukraine. Oh boy. The Wookiee warrior, an activist from a marginal political party, was apprehended by police in the southwestern city of Odessa after refusing to present his ID as he posed alongside children near a polling station, a local court said. Video footage from the arrest showed a growling Chewbacca resisting 4 officers who were forced to put him down on the bonnet of a van to handcuff him. A local court handled Chewbacca a 170 hryvnia fine for disobeying police orders. Look at this picture of him, Dan. Look at him showing up in court. Isn't that beautiful? He even has the like belt thing.
The wharf thing.
Wharf.
Is that a black blue microphone?
No, that's a Blue Yeti microphone.
It really looks like Labatt Blue.
Well, like the logo?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can't really go that far off of logo if you're just writing blue. Chewbacca, who had reportedly driven a candidate dressed as Darth Vader. Fuck, man, they're all in league in Ukraine. To the polling station, later told local media he could not pay the fine because his intergalactic bank did not have a branch on Earth. So there's no Kashyyyk Trust or anything like that in Ukraine, Dad, or on Earth. The local electoral commission registered 48 candidates from the Darth Vader bloc political party, including 44 individuals with the last name Vader, a local news site responded. How do you feel about this?
Oh, that's crazy.
Would you like to show up in a Chewbacca costume to a poll?
No.
Did you vote?
No.
You didn't vote?
I tried to, but it was a last minute thing, and they wouldn't allow me to unless I had gone to the new, because of where I live, I have a different address.
Ah, yeah.
And
I think you could have went if you had showed like some type. There was a thing.
I had all that, and they wouldn't let me do it. I had to go to that specific place to transfer my, which is so ridiculous, you know. And plus, with less than an hour's time, and it was pouring rain, I just figured, you know, enough is enough.
Well, it's too bad. I almost voted for the Rhinoceros Party.
Yeah.
You familiar with this party? It's like a joke party.
Yeah.
Fuck, it would have been awesome if I did that. But that's a different case. Should have voted for Chewbacca in Ukraine. But I didn't either.
How do you feel about Kanye for president?
Don't give a fuck. I'll tell you why I don't like Kanye. I'll tell you right here why I don't fucking like Kanye. Not because of his music. Not because of the way he acts or whatever. Because of that whole, you know, he went up on stage and did that fucking interrupted Taylor Swift stuff.
Yeah.
ODB started that, and we all know it.
Yeah.
At the Grammys in like 1996. And everybody's like, oh, he pulled a Kanye. No! Kanye pulled an ODB.
That's true.
Fuck that, man. Interrupting Sean Colvin. The best. Please, calm down. Please. The music and everything.
Oh,
Wu-Tang is for the children.
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What's the hype with Wu-Tang? Not ODB, Wu-Tang themselves. Why do you find that, or do you feel that
I like the
youngsters join the pack because it's such a commercial?
You mean now?
Yeah, now, and not when they were in their heyday, but now. And
I saw a girl with a Wu-Tang shirt recently, and I was like, she was not even old enough when they were relevant to like.
Yeah.
She wasn't even born when they were relevant. Like, I saw a guy in Korea. I remember this. I saw a guy in Korea with a Wu-Tang shirt, and like obviously in Korea they're all big into like hip hop now, and of course they all think that they invented it, and like, you know, like they have no idea that like it's been around for over 30 years basically.
Yeah.
But I started yelling. I was like, yo man, cash rules everything around me, cream, yo. And like no response at all. Like he had no idea what he was wearing, I don't think. It was pretty good. But what's the hype?
No, just that, you know how it's just like, because I've listened to their music and I really didn't like Wu-Tang. I liked ODB. I thought they all did better jobs on their own. Wu-Tang as a group, it's like NWA, kind of, you know.
Well, what's wrong with NWA though?
Well, it just they were all so much better on their own, you know. Like,
I don't know. It's like I'll tell you, it's probably the exact same thing with Wu-Tang and ODB, NWA, where it's like the first couple albums were amazing, And then later NWA albums kind of suck. Same as, well, I mean, I like the later Wu-Tang albums, but they're not as good as the previous ones. Like, what about Protect Your Neck? Bring the Ruckus? Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With? All the early stuff is, like, good. Especially The Mystery of Chess Boxing when you got ODB.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
It's because he died, that's why.
No, you know what it is? It's just, you know how you get these, you know, to the end of time, die-hard posters that think they're G's?
Yeah, like me. No, I don't know.
No, that think that just live and breathe it, and they break dance and everything, and they think they're G's, and you just really got to ask yourself, like, you know, what made this big to you all of a sudden? Is it just because you discovered it?
Yeah.
Just now?
Yeah.
Like, you know? Like, I've always been curious with that, you know?
Well, I mean, that's with everybody. I mean, I can't not say that I've never done that. Like something that was, like, underground to somebody else, and, like, me liking it later and being, like...
Yeah, but...
kind of ruining it for the person who had it when it was underground.
Yeah, but...
But I know what you mean. Like, when it's, like, really blown out,
like,
and it's, like...
The only reason I really respect Tupac is because, you know, his work was, you know, there were... Every album he had out, his rhymes were sick. You know,
I have to tell you, I was never really a big, not that I wasn't a fan, but I just never really got into Tupac.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you took any time out
except
to just
for
listen...
the original Tupac Amaru.
Okay.
Not Shakur.
Yeah. But if you took any time to just listen to like 2 or 3 of his tracks, you'd be astonished with his...
Well, sorry, not the original, number 2. Sorry.
Yeah. His lyrics versus, you know, but I think that was also like they were the beginning.
Not really, though.
No, of well, what later on led to
like now, sort of now stuff, or mid 2000s stuff.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, it wasn't really big back in the 90s, unless I suppose you were in that scene.
Yeah.
You know, you really had to be there. I mean, and you know, obviously the record sold, but I mean, rap didn't catch on until these people were all dead, and then you had the aftermath people that were alive. So yeah, I guess Wu-Tang and all these guys, they were still alive. You had Snoop Dogg, you had Dre, you had Eminem. And they, you know, when rap kind of made the transition in the late 90s into 2000, and much music had just been rap TV, for instance, that kind of took over.
Yeah.
Right in the late 90s, 2000. All these, you know, not quite trendsetters, but people that would later be, you know, sought after as OGs.
Yeah.
Were dead. And so, you know, when someone's dead, it's kind of like that dies off with them, you know? And like, for instance, people like Ice Cube grew up and went his own way, you know? He might have did cameo work here and there, but that, you know, that was retired.
Yeah. Well, he's, like, I have to give him, he's honestly like...
Well, no, I totally respect him, but
he's,
do you see what I'm saying? Like, in the sense that, like, I found that Dre, for instance, was just a joke. Like, he really did beats. That's okay, but he didn't. He was a producer, like they always said.
Yeah.
And you know. And
yeah, but I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody knows people write his lyrics.
I know that, but you know, I'm just saying that, like, generally, it's like I haven't really found any good rappers since Tupac.
Oh yeah, well, rap's dead. It's over. I mean, it still thrives, but we all know, like, to us, it's who cares now.
I think, you know what it is, though, is just that they didn't have. You can have whatever you want for lyrics, but if you didn't have something to live with it, you didn't have the stories to back it up.
Yeah.
Then it was pointless to me. You know, like I could never.
Like Eazy-E being a real
Yeah,
motherfucker from the streets that like
Tupac with that too, you know, and like his rhymes are sick, you know, and like I was looking into where he's from and Suge Knight where they're from, and you know, it's just you didn't have that. Like I realized, okay, Eminem, you know, he was from a toilet, a trailer in Detroit, but it would have been so much nicer if he had elaborated on the things he had done, you know, and you don't have to go into it, you know, in depth, but just if you were to use that as, you know, track work, which is what a lot of the others did, and that's, you know, there's more meaning to it if it's legitimate.
Yeah.
Instead of the same thing like I am poor or I am this or I know that, you know, it's not like, you know, like they're elaborating on something like, and that's the thing, like with ODB, like, you know, if you get past the entertaining side from the guy, I was kind of shocked, you know, when you think, how could you be so happy aside from your current situation?
Yeah.
Seeing where they came from, and he never really dove into that. You know? Like
what do you mean?
He had like kind of like a clown aspect to him.
Yeah.
You know? Which made him really entertaining, but even, you know, solo, we never really, you know, had much to say about his struggle.
What? No, I'm from the ghetto. How many celebrities from the ghetto?
Well, yeah, but he didn't make it, you know, he didn't elaborate on it. Like,
oh man, you should see early Wu-Tang where they're like, yo man, we had to fucking put a fucking milk on the windowsill, man, to fucking keep that shit cold, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know when you got like a fucking, it was like when you got fucking fruit in your cereal, man. That was like a fucking special day for you, man. They talk about like their early life of like being like poor as fuck in like Stapleton. And like, what's the other neighborhood? I forget the other. Park Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to go to the early stuff. And the early interviews are fantastic. Especially ODB. It's like, yo, man, I'm from the streets, man. Yo, ain't nobody can fuck with me, man. I'm from the streets, motherfucker. He's just like, he's raw, like, he's still got that, like, clown personality. But that's the way he deals with, like, growing up, like, hardcore. Like,
yeah.
But I know what you mean. Rap is dead. Who cares? It's over, Dan. One of the Beastie Boys is dead. It's over. Take one of those sips. We're going to go to the pot. Mix it up because I didn't actually mix it up too much. We're going to the top 10 list here. Oh my God. Hopefully it's a good one. Actually, top 10 villains might be in there. We're going to take that out. And of course, we could always make them shorter like we did last time. We could manipulate them as see fit. So what is this one? Top 10 TV shows. I already thought about this.
Yeah.
Number 1. Okay, it's not going to be in order. Well, we will. Don't worry. It's not going to be in order, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. But Simpsons has to be up there. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, of course, early, like, you know, season 1 to season 9, basically. Right?
Yeah.
Is South Park up there for you?
Yeah. I actually watched South Park not long ago.
Like
I caught it.
The new season?
Yeah.
Good? Bad?
I was impressed.
Still good?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Matt and Trey are still churning?
Yeah. I don't know how they do it, and that's why I have so much respect for them.
Yeah, after like...
Are you?
No. Like 19 seasons?
At least, yeah. It's been a long time now.
Fuck, they do good work. What else would you put on the list?
For TV?
I would put Jeopardy. Does Jeopardy count? It's not like a sitcom,
Yeah, no,
but I would put Jeopardy up there.
Yeah.
Is it on yours, though?
No, not on mine.
Okay.
I can't think of any game show.
So I would put I already said Simpsons, South Park, Jeopardy. Seinfeld is up there. For me, at least.
Yeah.
Definitely Degrassi Junior High and High. That's top 3 for me. No doubt. Not Next Generation. Fuck that shit. Batman the Animated Series.
What about Tales from the Dark Side?
No. That could be up there for you. You put it up there? No? What about Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worthy.
And we'll get into this in the next episode, but another one I would put up there, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best.
We won't get into it now, but we will in the next one. Oh, fuck yeah. That's in yours, top 10, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Good. Batman the Animated Series. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Degrassi High and Junior High. Batman? No, I already said that. Seinfeld. Is Seinfeld up there for you?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Simpsons is up there. Jeopardy's for me. You could put like Cosmos, Carl Sagan's Cosmos if you want, Dan.
No.
What else would you put?
That's hard,
You have to think also what you liked when you were a kid, what you liked when you were a teenager, what you liked.
I enjoyed Beetlejuice, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, I didn't even think about that. We ended our last podcast with Beetlejuice too.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. But you're talking the cartoon, the classic cartoon. I wish they had like Mike do the voice for.
Mike?
Like
Oh,
Keaton.
right.
I would of course put Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of watching.
Oh, you're watching it? Okay. Spoilers.
I've seen it.
Spoilers. Don't tell anyone. But how are you liking it?
Oh, I love it. It's good.
Are you done?
Well, I've seen it before. I'm only like
the whole
halfway
thing
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole thing before. Yeah. I remember my parents following that on TV and just getting let down when it.
Yes, it's just like some people just don't get it.
No, they got let down that it got taken off.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
they liked it.
Oh yeah, but just because it was, there was nothing else is strange.
Yeah, honestly, people who watch it now and like look back at it, they might not appreciate that. They might be like, oh, well, it's like TV now, but it's like that came out in 1991 and it was that good back then, like especially the David Lynch episodes. Fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know where you are, but it does get really bad eventually at one point.
I know. Yeah,
but it picks up. Like,
I just hate how it kind of just ended nowhere and it just went hanging. It was just like somebody said, I quit.
Yeah.
And walked away and left people that don't know what to do.
Yeah.
At work.
Yeah.
And it's shocking that they're actually doing it 25 years later.
Oh, it's going to be so good, man.
But what if it isn't?
But it's all directed and written by David Lynch. And he honestly even his recent films, the really early ones are his best, but even his recent films, it's like he doesn't really make concessions almost. Like he's still David Lynch. He's still fucked up. You know what I mean? Like he'll still be weird. He'll still make, and like he doesn't have the limitations of like I can't put sexual or drug content on TV. Because it's like on Showtime or whatever. So he can do whatever the fuck he wants. It's going to be good, Dan. It might be shit. It might be shit and it might be the worst show ever.
Yeah, who knows?
Would you also put it though in your top 10?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, it is that good.
It's worthy, yeah. With TV shows is so hard, because I never really watched TV unless it was connected to a movie like Ninja Turtles, for instance, but I wouldn't want to put that on there because, that was liked for no reason. It was just liked for every reason. Yeah. As much as it was liked for no reason.
So in terms of cartoon, you would have just put the Beetlejuice one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No I Real Monsters.
No.
No Bobby's World.
Perhaps Bump in the Night.
Oh, that's a good choice, actually. I didn't even think
That
about
was the last of cartoons that I remember. And then, Odds and Ends, Earthworm Jim, I think that was the same time.
Yeah.
And that only ran for a little bit. And then, you'd catch them because I had a younger brother, so like Beasties and Rugrats and what was another one? Reboot.
Oh, fuck, I put Reboot on.
Yeah, it was actually, it wasn't bad, like it was good. But yeah, by far, Afraid of the Dark, if you haven't seen that, it's oh.
That's our lead-in for the next episode. We're going to end here, but it might not be at the beginning of the next episode, but we're going to do a Halloween episode, and holy fuck are we going to talk about Are You Afraid of the Dark? So that's it, Dan. We're off to get some food because we're fucking hungry. Okay. Fuck these people. No, they're our viewers. So let's go get some food, Dan. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.